So I'm going to talk about AI visuals and traditional filmmaking. And the reason I'm talking about that today is because I know you guys have probably, or some of you may have, you can go back on my site and look at them, some videos I created about AI and how basically I was disappointed with it so far. The main thing that disappoints me is the repeatability of the characters and also how it won't do certain things because it says it'll violate policies or procedures or whatever their standards are. But today in this video I want to talk about how I started last week using AI and mixing it in with real video. So I'm working for a client. I'm editing a feature film. It's an independent feature film. And as I was editing the film, I started to realize there were a lot of psychological elements in this film. And there were some scenes where we needed to extend it a bit here, extend it a bit there. We needed to add more to make the psychological element more easier for the viewing audience to hang their mind around or to grasp it. So I did a little test with some of the AI footage that I have been generating through some of the programs. I used a little bit of ChatGPT to create the initial images. And I used Art List. I think it's Art List. That's how they say it. So I'll put it in the description below, but Art List, it's a great company. They have a lot of, I'm not being sponsored or anything, but they have a lot of resources that you can use on there. And at first, I wasn't that impressed with it. It still has terrible character repeatability. It's inconsistent. It can't duplicate faces from one shot to the next. But the psychological part of the character could get past that because in his mind, things are changing. In his mind, things are distorted, almost like dreams. I started thinking a lot about surrealism and the work of Salvador Dali. And I've always wanted to do something that extreme. And I think right now, as AI video is new, it's perfect for that. So I tried it out. I did some tests. And what I did was once I did the test, I sent it off to the director and the producer. And they both liked it. They were worried about a little bit of the AI backlash that's happening right now in the entertainment business with actors and actresses and producers and writers. And I'm the first one to stand up and tell them that, yes, there will be problems with people using AI and not using real actors, not using real actresses, not using musicians, not using special effects artists. And that's coming. And we can't fight it. We have to learn how to adapt and use it to our advantage. AI is a tool. I've done a video, if you look that up on my channel. I'm out there screaming about it because, I was watching videos where everybody was afraid. It's kind of died down a little bit now, but everyone was afraid. Everyone was shaking in their boots about not having any work because of AI. AI is a tool that we can use to make our story more interesting, to bring our ideas to life, especially on a micro and no budget level. That's what I talk about a lot because that's what I spent my career making independent films. Sometimes with no budget, sometimes with little budgets, sometimes with bigger budgets, but nothing compared to what budgets we have in Hollywood. I'm an actor also, so I act in big films, but I make micro budget and no budget films. And AI is a big boom to this community. You just got to think of how to use it. You got to think of how to use it creatively. Visual effects, and the thing of that I'm doing now, combining it with real video, and the story lends itself to that. It's wonderful, actually, to tell you the truth. I'm going to show you a few samples as I'm talking. I'll cover myself up. I won't go into detail about the examples because the examples are from client's film that I'm working on, and I don't have the permission to release the film title or stuff like that. But I can show little teeny clips of what I'm working on, and I mostly will probably show you the failed AI shots. So as I'm talking, you'll be seeing AI shots pop up now and then, and most of them are the failed shots. I spent hours, literally hours, creating a lot of these shots, and I'm paying for this service, and that's another downside. You're paying for it, you're using credits, and as you use the credits, you use up your availability of what you paid to create new images. So it'll charge you for even bad images that are not what you want. So that's another downside. But I pushed through, I powered through. And I think the only reason I was able to do it this time was because I was using it on a client's project where I needed some help. We needed some help to fill out the story, to elaborate more on the scenes, to bring elements of the psychological part of the film to life. So the AI was working great. A lot of the stuff it gave me wasn't what I asked for, and I'm writing prompts over and over, trying to figure out how to say it so I get what I want. And sometimes you just have to give up. You have to give up and take what they give you. Some of the stuff they gave me was good. Some of the stuff was crazy. And because it's psychological, some of it I could use. Sometimes you'd ask for instance, in this, I'll use these specific images. One of the characters was dragging a tarp through the woods. And then all of a sudden, the image looks good that AI generated, but there's a mirror image of the same guy in front of him standing there. So it does crazy stuff. Sometimes it gives multiple arms. Sometimes it gives two heads. And you got to keep writing the prompts over again. And every time you write the prompt over again, you're being charged for it. So I was able to do it because this is a project that I'm getting paid to do. And also I told the producer that I wanted to give this a try if they were acceptable with the quality I was getting, because it forced me to learn more. It forced me to learn the limitations of, and basically all these AI systems are the same. A lot of them are coming, or a lot of the clips you get are all being generated by the same major company. That I think it's this company that runs ChatGPT for all I know. But some of the major companies are farming their service out to different service providers. So basically it's all coming from the same place. But they tweak it here and there for the particular companies, I think. That's, to my understanding, that's what it is right now. I could be wrong, but I think that's the case, where there's one big company providing these services to all the smaller companies. But anyway, even if it's not consistent. But again, because of what I was doing, because of the context of the film, I was able to make it work. So let me go on to the next one I want to talk about here. Creative trade-offs. Automation can enhance your creativity, but it does take away the human touch, because there are a lot of things that I would have done different, a lot of choices I would have made with the AI generated image that I have no control over. Now I sit here and write prompts, pan up, tilt down, move to the left, move to the right. And sometimes it does some of the prompts and then it'll ignore something else. Or it'll do the prompt and it'll change to a totally different character. So I know I'm talking a lot about the negative part, but there are good parts. So what I learned as I was doing all of this was sometimes when I create an image, there may be a part of that image that I can use. Like, for instance, there was one scene where a guy was digging a shallow grave in the woods, and they totally put in a different character, and they totally made the shovel, instead of a shovel, it was now a spade. But I was able to zoom in on the shot and just get the motion of his hands coming back up and going back down. So again, there was another shot similar to that. It changed his wardrobe completely, changed the facial structure of the character. But I was able to get a zoom in, and the usable part of it was his feet walking in the woods. So there's ways around it. You have to be able to accept what it gives you and use what's good. So it's frustrating, especially being a director and you're used to trying to get what you want. You're trying to get it exactly the way you want. You're in control of the project. You're in control of the actors. You're in control of the wardrobe. You're in control of the special effects. You're in control of the sound design. You're in control of everything, all elements. That's the beauty of directing a project, and you can bring your vision to life. But with AI as a partner, AI has some control too, and it won't do what it doesn't want to do, or it will do everything you want, but it'll switch something, and it'll make the overall shot something you can't use. But I was able to find a workaround by using parts of what's good. So that's one thing that I did. Combining real footage with AI elements. Now that the live footage is live actors, real actors going through the scene, doing the scene. And there were ways that I could incorporate. One scene exactly was a flashback or a memory, a dream. It was a combination of the two. And the actor was pining away about his family who had been murdered. And so I was able to creatively use AI to create that character. And it looked a lot like him, but I was able to do some major color correcting and blend those images together and make it workable. It's not flawless. No, it's not flawless. It's not 100%. No, it's not even, I wouldn't even say it's 50%. But the element, again, that I'm working in, the dream world, like when you have a dream, one minute you're at school, the next minute you're at your job, you're a doctor or you're a lawyer. So things can jump around, things can change when you're dealing with that dream, imagination, and element realm. So I was able to work it into the story creatively. So right now, as a matter of fact, I'm rendering out the master and the rough cut master to send to the producer and the director and see what they say. Also, what I was able to do was it helped the budget because I'm paying for the service, but the shots that I get would be way more expensive to get if I was actually shooting with the actors and getting those shots. All of the shots I could have gotten with the actors, we'd have to have pickup days, but pickup days expensive. You have to get the actors together, pay them. You have the wardrobe, props, makeup, special effects, location, all the stuff that goes into making a real, even if it's a low budget feature film, a real film. And so I was able to generate those images, and I had to decide that trade-off. Is it worth it financially to deal with the limitations of artificial intelligence and incorporate it into my live video? And it really was. So again, that's what this main topic of this video is about, is how I was able to creatively use artificial intelligence, video generated artificial intelligence, where it stands right now and make it beneficial for this project that I'm working on. And it did work. I have to admit it. As much as I am not hyped by all the AI terms and terminology, I'm not completely I'm an actor too, so I'm not completely oblivious to actors' fears about AI because I've done a number of videos, and the truth is that it's going to get to that point where a film can be made, be entertain the general viewer with no real actors, and they won't be able to tell the difference. And it's going to be up to the viewer to make that decision. Do we want to watch a film with no actors? So ultimately the truth is ultimately it's going to come a time when there are no live actors. There may be stars maybe in the movie and everything else is character generated. It's artificial intelligence. So that's going to be the big turning point, I think. I mean, I'm not a futurist, but I can believe that that's going to be the big turning point. Let's go back here. Let me see what's on my list. I made a list for myself. I usually do so I can kind of stay within my talking points. It does benefit the budgets. Number one, time efficiency and artistic control. Okay, that's a big trade-off. I spent a lot of time writing the prompts, more than I wanted to, because I even had to get into the habit of writing the prompt in a Word document and then moving it into the artificial intelligence software, because what happens is every time it fails, it doesn't save that last prompt you've written. So I create my prompts. This is a little tip. Create your prompts in a Word document and then move that content from that Word document into the prompt window. And if it crashes, because that's another thing, it crashes a lot. It crashed a lot on me. And I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't been doing this professional paid job trying to work artificial intelligence video into it. So there's a lot of frustration. There's a lot of asking for something and not getting it. When you get real close, one of the most frustrating things is you get real close and it generates an image that looks usable. Everything is great. And then all of a sudden, at the end or the middle, something weird happens. And then you have to start over again. And then when you do start over again, you can't get back to that good point. So another tip is to download everything. All the images that you create, download them. There might be ways where you can use part of the image. So that's another thing that I learned doing this project. And I held back on using artificial intelligence to show the faces of the characters. There was one time I did use one face generated an art list, and I don't know if it's going to get past the director and the producer, but we'll see. It looks a lot like the character, and I did a lot of extensive color correcting to blend it in. And then also to my advantage was that I am working in the dream realm, so I have a lot of latitude of how things look. So I mixed the real face in with the artificial intelligence face, and it's kind of interesting. I honestly, it's kind of fun. It's kind of like working on a music video, but it's not completely controllable. And that's where the frustration comes in. You spend a lot of time trying to get what you want, and it gives you what it wants. So that's what you have to get used to. You have to get used to, okay, am I going to accept this? And when I first started it, I just said, no, I can't work like this. I was trying to create a project that I had on my shelf for years, and the character kept changing. And I needed character consistency because I couldn't tell the story without character consistency. If every shot the character looks different, it's ridiculous. So that's when I had stopped. So it's been about like 3 months, and I decided to revisit it for this feature film I'm editing, and I'm kind of happy with it right now. But it's only going to get better. And again, the AI backlash, it's real. It's real. People are afraid. And the sad part is, like I said, I'm not just talking from a filmmaker's point of view. I'm an actor too. And jobs are disappearing. Jobs are disappearing to different states. I live here in California, and jobs are moving to all these other states. 2 years ago, I went to Georgia, and I wanted to give try my luck in the acting field down there. And I was amazed at how much jobs were coming to Georgia. And I ended up doing 5 union jobs, which was a miracle and a great blessing for me. But I went out on literally, I was there for 2 years. And each year, and this is no exaggeration, each year I went out on over 100 union auditions each year. So that was 200 auditions. I mean, obviously, I wish my booking rate was higher, but it wasn't. But the fact that I was getting that many good auditions, I'm not talking about just one-liners, I'm talking about major, good character actor roles. You know, I'm a character actor, I'm not a leading actor, but those roles make a difference to me. Those roles are important to me. Those roles are what I work for. Those roles are what I think about. Those roles are what I always strive for. So those character actor roles are a big deal to me. So, and this is SAG. I'm talking SAG jobs. I'm not talking about non-union jobs. I'm a SAG member, and I've been a SAG member for over 35 years. And that was a big deal. And it really was eye-opening. I came back from Georgia because my family's here in California. But I think, boy, I wish I could still go on those auditions. But, you know, Georgia's kind of a closed market as far as the good managers and agents go. I can still be submitted from my agent out here, but they mostly try to get, with any character actor role, they want local hires because it's cheaper. You know, they don't have to pay to fly you in or put you up in a hotel. So that's the dilemma as far as the actor goes. So I'm not oblivious to the dangers of artificial intelligence, but I understand it. I love technology. So we have to live with it. We have to live with it. Again, it may make a lot of the roles that I go for, the smaller characters, disappear. Because if you can create a character that looks like me, that acts like me, that sounds like me, but not me, you don't have to pay me. And that's just going to be the part of the future. And if those characters are accepted in major feature films and major television series, you know, that's going to be the future. I don't think it's going to happen within the next 10 years. I may eat those words, but I don't think it's going to happen within the next 10 years. I don't know. I think it'll be about 10 years. I think we'll be at the tipping point where will the general viewing public, and I'm not talking about anybody involved in the entertainment business, will the general viewing public accept artificial intelligence generated actors and watch the show and get hooked on the characters and love the characters like they do real human beings? I don't know. But I think there is that possibility that they will. And, you know, things change. Unfortunately, things change. Nothing stays the same. Technology marches on. Progress marches on. We have to accept it. We have to go with it and find a way to coexist, as they say. Coexist. So that's my take on it. Let's see. Storytelling through AI. Yes, this has opened my eyes. I'm thinking about the possibility of doing something here on YouTube, a series, with only a few actors and the rest artificial intelligence. I think there's a number of stories that I could tell. They're just floating around in my head. So I might try something. And the beauty of it is I'll put it out there for you guys to look at, and we'll see if you like it. We'll see if you'll believe it. We'll see if you'll watch it. So that's something that I'm thinking about. And it's all because of this, combining artificial intelligence generated video with real video and seeing if I can make something that's watchable. And from what I've done so far, this project I just completed, the rough cut on, it was mostly real actors. And so the artificial intelligence is supplementing the production. It's helping move the story forward. And just thankfully or luckily, You know, I didn't even realize it when I started editing this project, how artificial intelligence generated video could play such a big role. And it really did. It helped the story. It actually helped the story because it can create images that we couldn't have created in real life in this story. So again, they're abstract. Artificial intelligence made a lot of the decisions that I didn't like, but some of the decisions I could live with. I could manipulate those images. I could use fragments of those images. I could direct the viewer's attention where I wanted it to go in the image that artificial intelligence generated. And I'm sitting there writing prompts over and over and over and over in 3 and 4 hours. And it's frustrating. It really is. Something you're paying for, a tool you're paying for, and the tool is making decisions that you don't want and charging you. So again, you got to balance that. You got to balance that. Can you deal with the frustration? I thought I couldn't, but let's see. What's the last topic here I want to talk about here? So again, this is just wrapping it up. It's hybrid filmmaking, and this was my first experience with it. I guess you can call it hybrid filmmaking because I extensively used a lot of small shots and small elements that were artificially generated video. And, you know, I have to admit, it's interesting. It's something that I couldn't have done, obviously, 2 years ago. And it makes me think of ways that I can make all new stories using real people and artificially generated people. So we'll see what happens. Again, I know that it's going to be a future where that decision is going to be made, but it's going to be made by the viewers. It's going to be made by you guys out there, the viewers who are watching it. Can I accept it? Do I want to see this? You know, do I want to see real actors? Or does it matter? Does it even matter? Does it even matter? There was a great line in Westworld where one of the women were a robot woman was talking to one of the guests, and he said, before we go up to the hotel room, this is paraphrasing, before we go up to the hotel room, I got one question to ask you. Are you real? And she said, does it matter? That was powerful. Okay, I'll see you in the next one.